A great whisky is made up of three things. It's made up of complexity, it's made up of balance, and it's made up of character.
Whiskey is the language I express things in. I like to express emotions, ideas, feelings through the language of whiskey in a way.
Yes, there's a scientific approach to it and there's a science to it, but it's also an art. And it's so important to realise that whisky is made by people. The whisky maker's personality is really important to the entire process because they're dictating the flow and the character and the flavour of the whisky.
In traditional whisky making, there are different people responsible for different parts of the process. At the Lakes, we believe in holistic whisky making, so Davil, our whisky maker, is responsible for the whole continuum.
Single malt whiskey is all about flavor. New Make Spirit is my canvas. What you do is you use colors, which are the flavors that you see around, to create your masterpiece. And the strokes, individual strokes of that art are what a blender brings to the table. Those are the creative personal influences that they bring. At Lakes, we focus on maturation and the blending to create, enhance and contrast those flavors. You can kind of control all parameters and create the flavor you're looking for.
You can be conventional by following an existing path, or you can take a more philosophically interesting position and actually go, I want to make something that is different, that is personal. And that's very much the path that Davil's taken.
I respect the traditional whiskey making process, but I think it is not only looking at what whiskey is, but what whiskey can be. And that is the approach that we are bringing in at Lakes. Ultimately, I want a whiskey that creates an emotional impact on the person drinking.
The way that Davil's almost like turned whisky on its head, and the idea that the wood and the oak in particular is a contributor to the subtleties of flavour. I don't know anybody else in the world who's doing this.
All whiskies use oak maturation to create and enhance and smoothen our flavors. But at Lakes, what we do is try to use oak to create a spectrum of flavor profiles, a palette of an artist with different dry fruit characters, tropical fruit characters, and those all are created using different spectrum of oaks. I've taken inspiration from élevage technique, which is from the cognac and brandy makers, where you have an active involvement in maturation, where you try to move the liquid around to layer it with different flavor profiles. Someone once said, write the book you want to read, and this is a whiskey I want to drink.
As well as the physical geography of the Lake District and the beauty and source of inspiration that it provides us with, the microclimate in the world of whisky making is incredibly important. The interaction of spirit, wood and air has a huge role to play in the contribution of what makes the Lake single malt so unique. Our environment is adding flavour whilst our whisky is maturing.
For me, this is a very creative and artistic process, and Lakes gives me the opportunity to tap into the creative realm very easily because this is a very serene environment. I think my hopes and ambitions are that, first of all, we establish Lakes as one of the best sherry matured single malts in the market, and in the process also not only put Lakes but also England on the map as one of the finest whiskey producing regions.